poker, which is one of my favorites. About in a top 3 list, I would say it's probably my number 2. And today we're going to play what I think is my top favorite. This is one that I always play with my family when we have big get-togethers. My brother is the one who taught me this game, and it is called THEAD. The way it works is there has to be at least 3 players, and for this we're going to just do 4, just to make it even. So I'm going to quickly explain the game while I shuffle these cards. Each player has 3 cards that are face down, and then on top of those cards there are 3 cards that are face up. Nobody, including you, knows what the face down cards are, because at the end of the game is when those are played, and at that point it's supposed to basically just be based all on luck, and there is no strategy with those last 3 cards that you can use. That's basically the whole point of it. So the game has a little bit of strategy and luck combined with it, so it's not just entirely luck or entirely strategy. You could be the most strategic person and defeat everybody, but then get defeated because your luck is poor. Alright, so let me pass out the cards now. So I'm gonna start with myself. 1 card there. Then I'm going to go to you. There is your card. Then I'm gonna go to him, or whoever this person is. Then to here. And basically just repeat that. Doesn't necessarily matter what order you do it in. I think it's honestly better to kind of do it like this, because it's more random. Alright, so now that that is set up, here let me just move these up a little bit. Alright, now you have to put the face up cards on there. Now, I actually forgot about the Joker. These actually are supposed to be out. Hopefully it's not under one of these cards. Okay, there we go. Luckily, it was still in the deck. So we can take the Jokers and just put them to the side. Now, you're going to have 3 more cards, so I'm just going to hand them out, kind of like how the traditional Uno is passed out. So I'm going to give that one to you, to this person, to me, to this person, to you, and then just kind of go in a clockwise pattern there. Alright, now these cards are supposed to be face up, so everybody is supposed to see this. I'll explain basically what the numbers mean in a minute. I'm just going to set up everybody's deck, or pile, or whatever you want to call it here first. So just like any other card game, oh, well, hold up. I have to pass out the hand first. I'm just gonna pass out the hand just like I did with the last thing. So these piles here that I just passed out are your hand. This is something only you are supposed to know. But since it is just a game that I'm teaching you, I'm going to show everybody's deck. I can't really fit it on the screen, but I'll still kind of explain how this works, or try my best to show everybody's. Alright, so this deck right here is yours. You have a 7 of diamonds, 4 of clubs, and 3 of hearts. And in this, you have a 6 of spades, 3 of diamonds, and a 2 of spade. Over here, I have a 10 of heart, king of spade, 3 of club, jack of diamonds, queen of clubs, and 7 of spades. Now, I'm just not going to explain much of these guys' piles because it's more about me and you. So, I'm just going to try my best to explain to you. The numbers 10 and 2 are the most powerful cards in the game. Well, kind of, at least. A 10, if you put it down, it does not matter what card is before it. You can place the 10 at any given moment, and that will basically delete the pile. And it will take the entire pile that's there, you pick it up and set it to the side. That's called blowing it up. Now if you put a 2, it's kind of the same thing. If there is a pile here, and you don't have any good cards to play, you can play the 2, no matter what card came before it. Doesn't matter if it's higher or anything like that. You can place the 2, and what that will do is reset the deck. The deck or the pile will stay there, but it basically resets the number all the way to 2. So then you can play another low card like a 3, if that makes sense. But the piles still stay there, though. If someone can't play any card, they would have to pick up the entire pile, because the 2 makes the pile stay there. So let me have my 10 back. These top cards that are laid above the downside cards can be played or can't be played until your entire hand is gone and this deck is gone. So these cards cannot be played yet, but they can be switched around. You see your pile here, your hand is actually bad, but there is some things you can change here that can make it just a little bit better. This 2 here is good, so you want to keep that, because the 2 is, like I said, powerful. You can place above anything, and it just kind of trumps it, no matter what card came before it. The 3 is low. You want to remove that. So what you can do is trade that out for your highest next card, 7. So you can basically play strategically like that at the beginning of the game. For me, I have a 7, a queen, and a jack. I have a 10 and a king. Those are my 2 highest cards. So what I can do is replace the 7 with the 10. So now I have one of the best cards in the game there. And replace the best thing to do here would be to replace the jack with the king. So now I have the most powerful possible deck. And this is my new hand. Oh. The jack of diamonds, the 3 of spades, or the 3 of clubs, and then the 7 of spades. So how about we start playing? I'm not gonna set up any of these guys' decks because I don't want to waste too much time. But you do need more than 2 people, so they do have to be in here, if that makes sense. So the first thing you want to do is figure out whose deck has the lowest card number. So it's kind of like Go Fish. You say, does anyone have any 3s? If no, you keep going up. Does anyone have 4s? If no, you go up. Anybody have 5s? And until someone has that number, they say, oh, I do. So, I have a 3, so anybody have 3s? Yes, I have a 3. So I would put that down, and you want to always have 3 cards in your hand at all time until this deck is gone. So, once I play a card, I pick up another card, and it happens to be a queen. So we're going to move in a clockwise position here. So it would be this person's turn, and his lowest card that is above the 3 would be a 4. So he placed a 4, which is good. That's actually perfect. And he got a jack. He drew a jack from that. Now, something I do notice here is you have 2 3s. In a deck of cards, there are only 4 3s, or 4 of any card. If you see that I placed a 3, and you have the other 3 3s, and you have all of them, what you can do is place all those 3 down, no matter whose turn is next. If you see that there's a 3 there, and you have the other 3, you can place all of them down, and that blows the entire pile up, kind of like how a 10 does, and then you can put it to the side. And then you get to go again, and then it starts from your turn. So say I put the 3 down and you had 4, or you had the other 3 3s. It would normally be this guy's turn, but if you can place down all of those 3s fast enough, you can entirely skip this person. They go to you, you play again, and then it goes to this person, and then back to me. So you can really strategically play like that as well, but you have to keep an eye out. So, that guy played a 4. Your options would be, oh, look at that. You have another 4, so that's good. Draw a card for you. You got a 6 of diamonds. Right now it's looking kind of bad for you. I don't know why you're so bad at card games, but we're just going to ignore that. GG's, man. But now it's this guy's turn, and that is a 4 that was played. Wow, and actually this game is playing out like really insanely perfect. This guy has a 5 in his deck. So there's that. He drew a 4 of diamonds. Not the best to be drawing right now, but it is now my turn, and I have the 7 of spades. So I'll be playing that. It doesn't matter what suit it is, just as long as it's a higher number card. So then I would draw, I get a 9 of diamonds. And you can see how it's getting higher and higher, not higher. Eventually someone is going to have to not be able to play because they're going to run out of good cards, and then once they run out of good cards, they can't play. And if they can't play, they're going to have to pick up the entire pile. But the ironic thing about that is those people are usually the ones who win at the end of the game, which ends up being, it makes sense why they win, but it's not something you would expect. So I just went, it would be this guy's turn. The highest thing he has right now is, or well, the lowest higher card that he has is the Jack of Clubs. He has a 10 and a 2 over here, which are both better than the jack, but you want to play the lowest card you have, but also being higher than the last played card. You don't want to play a card that's too insanely high, because that would really mess you up later. So he has played the jack of clubs. You're going to draw a card. You got the 8 of hearts. It is your turn to play something higher, and you can't. You have the 3 of hearts, 3 of diamonds, and a 6 of diamonds. So you cannot play anything right now. So what that means is you have to pick up this entire pile. And these are all of the cards that you got. So let's add that to your pile over here. And since you picked up, it skips you and it goes back to this person. So his lowest card is a 4, so that's pretty good. Good thing you picked up, or else he would have been in danger. Well, actually, no, not really. He did have an ace, so not too much in danger, but let's draw him a card. Let's see what he gets. He got the 5 of spades. So he's drawing really low cards. So hopefully he can still be in the game by the end of it. But it doesn't really look like that. So that guy played a 4. I'm going to play this 9 because that's the most sensible choice. And I just drew a 7 of clubs. Not the best, but we'll see. And this guy is actually in a annoying situation right now. I just played a 9 and he has an 8. So he can't play the 8. So now he has to choose between 2 of his really good cards. So this is where kind of the strategy comes in. Does he want to play the 2 and hope that someone else picks up a huge pile? Or does he want to entirely blow up the deck and not have to worry about the risk that he will end up picking up the deck at some point? Now me, I always prioritize the 2 over the 10. I always try to save the 10s. So, just going off of my style, we're going to go ahead and play the 2 for him. So what that does is it resets the deck. As you can see, I played a 9 of diamonds. Since this 2 is played, it resets the number. So the next card that should be played is anything higher than a 2. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Jack, Queen, King, Ace. And he actually he got another 10, so he's actually doing really, really well. Oh, and another thing you should keep a watch out for is the types of cards that are played, like 10s, aces, and stuff like that. And what you can do is kind of predict what other people have under their cards, the ones that are flipped upside down, the ones that you can't see. By the end of the game, if you can really memorize what cards have been played and what haven't, you can have a good idea of who has what card under their card, or who has what card flipped over. So that's something you can think about, but that's kind of what a very experienced player would be thinking. Definitely not something a noob should really be thinking about right now, but that is a good piece of advice. So he just played, came back to a 2, and it is now your turn. And since you picked up so many cards, you actually have, and here's why a lot of the times the people who pick up the most cards wins, because when a card like this is played, and you have so many cards, you have 3 of the 3s right now, and if you have the same card, you can play them all at once. So you have 3 threes, and since it's your turn, you can play all 3 of the 3s right now. Or you could play 2 4s, since you can well, you can play anything, but you do have 2 4s. Since you have 2 4s, you can play both of those 2 4s. But the best option would be to play your lowest card. That's kind of the idea here. To play the lowest card, but higher than what was last played. So you have 3 3s, this would benefit you the most. So you can put all of those down since they're the same. Now, let's see. Does anyone have a 3? No. Where's the other 3 at? So, based off of that conclusion that you put down 3 3s and I don't see any 3s on here, that means there's either a 3 in this deck or a 3 under one of our flipped cards. So that's kind of an example of how you can understand where a certain card could be. So, you just went. It is now this person's turn. You played 3s, and this guy is a 5. So we're going to go ahead and use the 5. And let's see what he gets. He got a 6 of hearts. He keeps pulling really low cards. I pull mediocre cards. This guy pulls really good cards, and you pull the whole deck. So it is now my turn. I have a 7. There's the 7. See what I get. Ooh, and I got an ace. That's a little bit more than a mediocre card here, but that's pretty. Yeah, I take it back. I'm not getting just mediocre cards, I'm getting pretty good cards. And this guy has an 8, so that is perfect. 1 number higher than what is needed. Pull out a little Queen of Hearts for him. Like I said, he keeps pulling really high cards. Put these down for a minute and play for you. So there was an 8 that was played. Let's see what your lowest card is. So you have 4, 5, 6, and 7. Your highest, your lowest high card that you can play is a Jack. So we're going to go ahead and play that. And since you have more than 3 cards already, you don't draw from this pile. The only time you need to draw from this pile is if you only have 3 cards, and then you put a card down and you have 2 cards. Then you would have to draw from the deck to make sure that you have 3 cards. It is now this person's turn since you just went, and he has a 6 of hearts and a 9 of clubs. So, and an ace. So the only thing he can play is the ace of clubs since it is higher than the jack. So he is left with a 6 of hearts, a 9 of diamonds, and an 8 of diamonds. Did I say 6 of diamonds? I meant 6 of hearts. Something. I don't know what I said. But it wasn't right. So, it is now my turn. I happen to have an ace. So, I am forced to play that and draw a card, which happens to be the most luckiest card in the game, known to man the Ace of Spades, the famous Ace of Spades. Isn't that beautiful? But anyways, it is now this guy's turn, and he has 2 cards that he can just throw away, and it doesn't really matter. The 10, he has 2 10s, and he is forced to play one of them. So, you can see all of these cards right here. Placing the 10 there automatically blows up the deck. And this is also where another memory game kind of comes in. You can kind of memorize that one ace is gone, two aces is gone, a jack, threes. So with that conclusion, there is only 3 4s in the game left. There's only 1 3 in the game left. A 2 is gone. A 10 is gone. A jack is gone, and 2 aces are gone. So there's only 2 more aces in the game. They're either in this deck or under the cards. So since the 10 blew this up, you can just basically put this to the side and throw it away. I'm going to actually put this over here. Alright, so now that that guy spent a 10 to blow up the deck, I'm going to draw him another card, which happens to be a 9 of hearts. Just going to add that back to his deck. There's only 1 card left here, and it is your turn, since he, well, no, actually, since he just went and blew it up, he blew it up, so that is kind of like an accomplishment, so he gets to play again. I think I actually messed up earlier when I played the 2. Whoever played the 2 was supposed to go again, but anyways, that's a little mistake I think I made earlier. Whoever played the 2 was definitely supposed to go again, and since he played the 10, he was supposed to go again. And well, I did, but he can draw the card like I just did, which was the 9 of hearts, and then he can put that right back in the middle, if that's his lowest card. And since he still has only 2 cards, he draws the very last card, which is the 8 of spades. Now, you have to play something higher than that. And I don't think you do have anything higher than that. No, you don't, so you have to pick it up. It's not a big deal, just 1 card. I'm doing my best to show you what cards you have, but not really working out. Now, you picked up, so it kind of skips you. It is now this person's turn. His lowest card is the 6 of hearts. Place that down in the middle. And it is now my turn. Since the deck is gone, he does not have to draw. He is now left with 2 cards, and hopefully for him, he can stay like that. Now obviously the objective is for you to win, but you want to have the lowest amount of cards as possible until you run out. If you run out, you win. I probably should have explained that earlier, but that's okay. At least you know now. It is my turn now. He played the 6 of hearts. I have to play my lowest high card with, which happens to be a very high card, the Jack of diamonds. This guy over here has a queen and a 10. Obviously you want to save the 10s as your highest. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the queen. And now that this guy's queen is played, you can look at your cards, which I already know that you can't play. So you're gonna have to pick that up since you don't have anything that can beat that. So basically you're just sitting over here right now picking up cards. But like I said, you will most likely do really well at the end. It is now this guy's turn, and his highest low card, or his lowest high card, is an 8. Fortunately, I'm able to beat that, which is a queen. This guy can blow it up, which is kind of a waste, but he has to, so that blew it up, which gives you an opportunity to play any low card that you want. Let's see what you have. Your lowest card is A4, and you have 2 of them, so you can actually play both of them. Here's your deck back. And this guy over here has a 9. So we can beat that. I have an ace. I can beat that, and this guy, the guy who has been getting all of the high cards, cannot beat it. So he will have to pick up the entire deck here. The only unfortunate part is now he has a bunch of really high cards. Now it is your turn again. You can play any card you want. And your lowest card is a 5, so I would go ahead and do that. And now this is the only guy, or only person that does not have a deck left. So then he goes, well, now that he does not have a deck in his hand to hold, and he's used all of his cards, he can now play the top 3 cards that are facing up. But before he can play any of the cards that are facing down, he has to play the cards that are facing up. Fortunately, he has a 5, which can match your 5. So he can put that down, and he's still safe. I have a queen, king, and 10. I want to play the lowest card possible. So I'm going to go ahead and play the queen. This guy over here has only 1 card that can beat it. And unfortunately that is his highest card. And he is going to have to practically waste it. But hopefully it can help him in the future. And you cannot beat it once again, so you have to pick up the deck once again. Unfortunate for you, isn't it? And this guy over here has the 9 of spades. Can go ahead and play that. I'm going to go ahead and follow up with my king. And this person cannot play anything since he used his ace last time. If he still had his ace, then I don't know why I'm talking so weird, but I meant to say if he still had his ace, he could have put it over this and beat it, but he does not have it. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick up that pile for him. Hope he does not mind. It is now up to you. You can play any card you like. You have 2 5s, 6, 9, oh, another 6. You have 2 6s. So the lowest card you have is a 5, and you have 2 of them, so go ahead and play both of them. Have your deck back. This guy has no other choice but to play the 2. So go ahead and play the 2, that resets it. And now that he played a 2, he gets to play another card. Like I said earlier, you play a 2 or a 10, you get to play another card, so he played a 2. So he gets to play another card. So this is where the luck comes in. He has to choose any of these cards. He can choose any of them. But it could either be a really high card that he wastes, or it could be a really low card, which is the best possible choice, or best possible scenario. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose for him. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, yeah, and a 3. Oh my gosh, that is actually the best. I can't believe I just did that. But that is a 3. That is the best possible scenario. That's a 3. Right over a 2. He got really lucky, and I'm the one who chose for him. So he put the 3. I have no choice but to put my 10. That blows it up. I'm gonna go ahead and pick that up, put that to the side. this guy has 2 4s, so his best option would be to play those to get rid of them. And let's see what you have over here. I think you had 2 6s, right? Yeah. Alright. Your best option would be to play those 2 6s. This guy gets to go again. Hopefully you can choose one of these cards, and one of them will be higher than that 6. So go ahead and eeny, meeny, miny, mo, an ace. So it is indeed higher, so he's still in the game. He didn't have to pick up, but that is a very, very high card. I don't know what's under this, but hopefully when it comes around to being his turn, he can play this and win the game. But seeing as though he just used an ace, the chances of him winning are now slightly worse, since he used most likely his best card. Now, I don't have a deck of cards in my hand, so now I have to choose between my cards. I went for the middle last time in his, and it was really good. I'm gonna go ahead and choose the middle again. The Jack of Spades. Not what I should have chosen. Don't know what else is on here, but not good. So I picked up that deck. I'm gonna go ahead and put that there for now. This guy goes ahead and plays his 8. He has 2 9s. So he could choose to play 2 9 to get those out of the way, or play the 8. I'm going to go ahead and play the 8 because playing the smallest is the way to go. Anything higher than an 8 in your deck? Yes, you have a 9. Perfect. And this guy's turn. Now, this guy could either win the game right now or pick up the deck. What is it going to be? The 7 of Hearts. Only 2 numbers lower. But good thing he only has to pick up 3. So now he has a deck of 3 cards in his hand right now. It is my turn. Let's see what the lowest card I have is. 2 6s, 2 4s. Definitely the 2 4s. Put them down. I'm going to play the 2 9s for this guy over here. And for you, the best choice is the Jack. You do have 2 queens in your hand. I would put those next to each other just to be prepared to play both of them. You have a 7, hopefully you can get rid of the 7. And most of the time, queens and aces can always be played most of the time. Because it's kind of rare when you see a king being placed down. At least when I play. Now this guy actually doesn't have anything to beat the Jack. He has a 9, 8, and a 7. So he will be picking that up. Look at that. Like I said, the guy he was about to win is now having the most cards. And you had the most cards and you're slowly getting rid of them. I got close to winning, but then failed at the very end. So, it is kind of ironic. I have 2 6s here. I can go ahead and place those down. Now I have a Jack and an ace left before I can start playing these 2 again. This guy has no other choice but to play the king. And since this is his last card, he can place this down and he can notice that this top pile has a king. And since he puts this down, he's technically able to play these cards, which gives him the right to play this king at the same time as well. So he can play both of those kings. And it now goes to your turn. So that gives him a little bit of a boost there. You have no choice but to play the ace. That's your only higher card. Now, it is kind of rare when a king is played, but it happens. So, there's that. It is this guy's turn now. I don't think there's anything higher than an ace in here. Nope. Pick up the deck once again for this guy. This guy is not having a good day right now. I get to play the jack. And now that I have an ace left, it is safe to say that whenever the next turn comes up, I am able to play it since it is the highest number card. And then the only two cards above that would be a 2 and a 10, so I'm pretty much guaranteed to be able to place that. So, I placed the jack. This guy has to play the jack, which is good for him, at least. Hopefully he can get this 6 in when it comes to be his turn again. You have no choice but to play the 2 queens. You're left with a 7. Maybe next time it's your turn you can place this 7 and the 7 at the same time. And then the next thing you'd want to place is the 6. Then the 2, then you can play another card and be safe. So this guy definitely has a card to play now that he's picked up the entire deck like 3 times. He's got the 2 kings. Surprisingly no queens, but he can still at least play. Now, like I said, I'm pretty much guaranteed to play my ace because there's nothing higher than that. So the king, just one more higher, I place the ace. And since I have gone, no, okay, I was about to say I get to go again, but that's not true. That's only with the 10s and the 2s. But it is now this person's turn, and unfortunately, the 6 is just not going to cut it, so he has to pick up this entire deck. Maybe he can get rid of that at some point, but most likely not. So, you are lucky you get the chance to play your 7. And since that was your last card, you can notice that 7 there, and place that 7 down. So that helps you out a little bit. Any 7s in here? Yes, a 7. Alright, so let's see if I can get lucky and get something higher than a 7. I'm just going to pick really quick. Are you kidding me? Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. And this guy over here, let's see what low cards he has. The only low card he has is a 6. Oh, and lucky you. Isn't that fortunate? You happen to have a 6. So you can place that down. So now next time it is your turn, you are guaranteed to be able to play 2 cards. Then you'll be left with 2. So that guy has 2 6s. Oh, look at that. So here's an example of blowing up cards with 4 of the same cards. So there's 2 6s here, as you can see. And this guy here has the last 2 6s. So that puts all 4 of the 6s that are in the deck. And since all 4 of them are there, that blows it up. Now ideally, you would want this to happen when there's a big deck. Oh, and it doesn't matter what order the 6 is in. The 6s don't have to all 4 be on the top. Just as long as all 4 of the 6s are in the deck in some place, it blows it up. So, all of the 6s are here. That deck is gone now. And he gets to go again since he blew it up. So the best possible, or the best choice here for him is to play the 2 4s. His deck is getting a little bit smaller, which is good for him. I happen to have a 4 that's good. I can get rid of that. I'm left with 3 7s and 1 flipped over card. Hopefully I can play the 7s and get a good card here. So this guy seems to have a lot of high cards. There we go, there's 2 jacks. And you get to play the 2, which resets that all. And you get to choose which one you want. Which one do you want? I'm going to say you wanted this one, which happens to be 10, and that blows up the deck. That was perfect, wasn't it? Now you get to play again since you played a 10. You can go ahead and say you wanted this one. That was a queen, that was a high card, which is not the greatest that you could have chosen. And the only thing this guy can play is an ace, which actually messes me up. I only have to pick up 2 cards, which is okay, but still not great. And it's now this guy's turn again, and his lowest card is the queen. And this is why it messes you up. Obviously, now you have to hope that your last card here is higher than a queen. Are you ready? Oh, of course you are. A5. Now, I think the card you picked up over here was a queen, right? I'm not sure. But if you picked up the 5 first, you would have been good. And then the queen, you would have won. But you picked it up in an opposite order, which is what caused you to pick up this deck. You could still win, obviously. You were the closest to winning. And like I said earlier, you were the first one to have a ton of cards. So it's happening exactly like I said. The person with the highest amount of cards usually wins. Now that it is this guy's turn. His lowest high card is an 8. I'm going to go ahead and see what I have. I am forced to play a queen, which is not good for me. And this guy has to play 2 kings. But he's left with an ace, so he's good. He's good off. You actually have to pick up because you don't have anything higher than a king. So, take back what I said. Now you have quite a few. So sorry about that. 9, 9, oh, 3 9s. That's quite interesting. So he has to play that. He is now left with 1 card. And I can play the ace. So this guy can also play the ace. And you cannot beat the ace. So then you have to pick up. But good thing for you, you're left with 2 aces. Now unfortunately, this guy now can play his last card, so he just won. But the way I play this game is we keep playing until everyone is out of cards. So we're going to go ahead and do that. I cannot beat that, so I have to pick it up. And this guy can now play a random card. So I'm going to go ahead with the middle. Happens to be an 8. I already see an 8 that you have in here, so there's 1, 8. Okay, so you only have 1. So you still want to play it. It is now my turn. I have to play the jack. Let's see what this guy has over here. The king. That's good, that's good. In that situation, that was good that he pulled a high card, because that was only 2 numbers higher than the jack. but under normal circumstances, a king would be bad to pull out. So this guy happens to have 2 kings on him. Maybe if we can get the 3rd king, I don't remember if it's already been blown up or not, but if we can get the 3rd king in here, or the 4th king in here, we can potentially blow that up. I actually forgot whose deck this was. I think it was yours. I hope it was. And it goes back to me. I cannot play, so I have to pick that up. And it goes to this guy. He can play his last card, which was a 2. So either way, he would have won, no matter which card he played. He had a queen over here and a 2. So if he played the 2 instead of the queen, he would have been able to play the 2, and then he can go again and play the queen. So he would have won faster, but either way he won. So that was good for him. But now it's just me and you left in the game. Now this is usually where we call it when 2 people are playing against each other, because at that point you're just handing cards back and forth and back and forth. Like here, we'll play for a little bit and I'll kind of show you how that happens. So since he just went, it would be your turn. You would want to play your lowest card, your 5. So then I would play the lowest card that's able to beat that, which is my 3 7s. You would try to beat that with, is that a 9? Yeah, okay. You have 3 9s here. Then I can beat that with my joker, or my jack, sorry. Then you have 3 queens to play. I have 3 kings. And then you have your 2 aces. Now, usually it's just a back and forth thing. But that time I was actually kind of lucky. You were able to win. So that's actually kind of crazy how I just said it would be back and forth and then you instantly just won. But good luck. Good job. GG's, you won. I lost. Out of all 4 of the people, I was the last one. And my last card was the king, the last king. Look at that. Well, that was a good game. I'm glad I could play with you today. I hope I was able to teach you something. You did pretty well. And I hope to see you for the next game that we play.